Hey, Jay. There you go. Hey, so far, Gymnastics 101, what are you thinking so far? What do you see? What are you picking up? How do you like it?
Well, if you were here and you got here early and you watched us warm up, you saw some things that looked a little more comfortable than they do right now. And that's part of why we do this. We come in here, we know we're going to see some jitters. We know some things are going to be a little incomplete, but that's okay right now. We're just starting to work and dialing in those details. And I assure you, by the time we get through January, you'll see a different level of execution than you're seeing in here tonight.
I noticed you went through those dismounts on the uneven bars. I'm thinking that was absolutely intentional because you're looking this year for excellence, and you know that it's just a smidge difference in those tenths you need to advance.
Well, that's right. And they get in here on this equipment. What people don't realize in gymnastics is, depending on the surface that the equipment is on, it can feel very different. The bounce of the bars can feel different. The bounce of the floor can feel different because of the way it breathes. We're on top of the basketball floor in here, so there's a different give than what we have in the gym. And when we go to other people's gyms, maybe their basketball floor is there and maybe it's not. So we have to adjust to equipment, and we do that in the long warm-up every time we go somewhere. And that's really one of the things we're bringing them in here to do, is because, as I mentioned, this is the only chance we get to come in here and practice. And so to be able to, we got to make those adjustments very, very quickly. You got to understand, the sport of gymnastics requires a level of perfection that no other sport does. And we've got to be at 99% of execution perfection all the time in order to be successful. That's not true in every sport. And so it's amazing that they can make the adjustments that they do in such a quick way.
You have 9 people going up on every event. And from what I've seen so far,
that was 10 on bars. There was 10 of them on bars, and 11 if you put Chase in that mix. So we're there.
Yeah. Like, how does that make you feel as a coach going into such a long season?
I'd like to have more than 9. You really can't have too many going, because as you know, when you stood on this runway in regionals that year and the bottom of your foot popped, things can happen. And so you have to have a lot of people and a lot of depth in order to be ready for anything that can happen during the course of a season. Our sport is a high injury rate sport. There's no getting around it, but we do things to manage them the best that we can and keep them safe all year long. That's another reason we land very soft in the gym on resi pits. This is the first time they've landed on hard surfaces all year since August. So everything feels a little different. Their feet will be burning a little bit tonight when we finish.
You feel like you've been hit by a truck the next day.
Feel like you've been hit by a truck. That's right.
Hey, Jay, real quick, for the benefit of these great fans who've turned out tonight for Gymnastics 101, our ticket sales are through the roof. Now, granted, we have an amazing home schedule this year, and fans aren't going to want to miss it. But a note, if you don't mind, before we start Balance Beam, about what these fans mean as the heartbeat of this program.
It is our fans create an environment that is unique to college gymnastics for sure, and it's really unique in all sport. LSU in general, the fans for every sport, is unique to college sports. I mean, the ardent support, the vociferous support. I know not every person that comes in here when there's 12,000 people in here knows everything there is to know about gymnastics, but they know that our kids are wearing purple and gold, and that fires them up. And so the energy that our team gets from our fans is such a huge advantage for us when other teams come in here. We're going to need that. As you mentioned, the schedule it's a meat grinder, and we do that by design, because we feel like now that we have this huge fan base, we owe it to them to bring in the best teams and give them the best show we can, even if that means we run the risk of losing a meet sometimes here. We want to make sure that we sharpen ourselves and go against the best teams, and we're going to keep trying to bring those teams like Oklahoma and Utah, and of course the SEC schedule itself is crazy. You mentioned our season ticket sales. I think if we haven't already, we're about to go over and set a new record for season ticket sales this year. So it's exciting. It's just an exciting place to be, and you guys do that for us.
Jay, talking about Beam, what are you hoping to see tonight?
If you'll notice, I kind of move away from Beam. It's that event that I've heard a lot of people that come to our meets say the same thing. It's 4 inches wide. It's 4 feet off the ground. My energy is not really a good mix for that event. You got to have a calm person. That's why Bugs is over there running the show. She's able to get them where they need to be. But I'm just looking for really you look for artistry similar to as you do on floor. You're looking for rhythm. You're looking for making sure that things flow together. You'd like for when they can for gymnasts to work the beam on toe. You're looking for things like straight legs and pointed feet and stuck landings and the things that you look for on other events as well.
You know, Jay, I'll tell you something I'm looking for on balance beam, and that's the return of Kai Rivers. And you have her in the leadoff spot for a reason. She wasn't able to compete last season, but she is back and looks fantastic.
Well, if those of you that have been around me a long time, you know that I've said Kai Rivers is our alpha, and she does a great job. And that spot was occupied by Christina Desiderio so amazingly for her career. Kai's got the same mentality, and Kai relishes the idea of going first, and so we're excited to have her in that leadoff spot.
All right, Coach, let's go to balance beam. It looks like Bugs has the team all circled up.